Welcome to the CoordiKids podcast. This is the episode number 1, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to Marga Gray. Hello, Marga.
Hello, Karen. Thank you so much for having me. I am very thrilled to be here and to have somebody that support me so that we can share what we know with parents and teachers and fellow therapists.
That is great, Marga. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. And I have prepared some of the questions for you. And my first question will be, what inspired the creation of CoordiKids?
Oh, that's a big question, but I will tell you, I will try to be short. I was a therapist, of course, and I saw these kids every week in therapy sessions. And at that stage, I didn't get funding, so it was really expensive for parents. It was expensive to travel. It was a big commitment for the family to get the child to me every single week. And then when a child reaches a certain stage in therapy, you think he has to do all these exercises because we are developing his nervous system and we're developing his body, and it is essential. But it will be so much better if I can do that every day at home. And I look at the child and I say, well, I know what they should do. And if the parent can know what they should do, then the parent can help me and take a little bit of control. And then I thought video modeling, that's the thing that we should do. And we should give them very clear instructions and follow the developmental sequence, how a typical child develops, and build those skills. And then we started.
That is great. So how would you explain CoordiKids in a short way for a parent that is hearing this for the first time?
Well, this is a program or a course that your child can be on where you can be involved as a parent or as a teacher at school. You can be involved in helping your child, help the therapist to observe the child at home and report back to your therapist. I don't think there will ever be anything that will replace a therapy session with a competent therapist. But we all know it's impossible to take your child for a therapy session every single day. So unless he is in a special school where he can have therapy every day, and then even that is difficult. So they can do these exercises at home. It doesn't cover everything in development, of course, and that's why we are also there to support, and we are also there to collaborate with another therapist if the child has another therapist. But at least this is something that they can do at home. They can know that they are developing skills, that they are developing the child as a human being, not only a single skill like toothbrushing or how to hold your pencil. The child develops, so automatically they will hold the pencil correctly. Automatically they will listen better because the development has taken place.
Mm-hmm. What is the age range and needs that the program serve, Marga?
It depends, of course, on the child's skills, but it is more or less for children between 4 and 12 years old. So we have had 3-year-olds, but they cannot do everything, but that's okay. They are developing their skills, and that's all right. And then we have had 10 to 12-year-olds who have significant motor skill problems. Now, I say significant, it doesn't mean that the child can't walk down the street. They don't look as if they have problems, but they might have problems with something that we call dyspraxia, and that means motor planning. So they can walk and they can run and they can jump, but they just fall over a little bit more than the next child, and they just find tasks more challenging than the next child. And they do very well on CoordiKids. They improve very much.
Mm-hmm. So what results or changes do parents typically notice with CoordiKids?
You see, I initially, when we created the program, I was very nervous because I thought in therapy sessions, when a child progresses, you see also improvement in self-esteem and you see improvement in emotional regulation. But we as therapists are there to guide, and I didn't know whether that will happen at home. But that was one of the first pieces of feedback that we heard, is that parents said the child is listening better, his attention is improving, his emotional regulation is improving. And as the same happens in therapy, that it's a gradual process. So over time, the parent will think, there's not much improvement. But then I take out the very first form that the parent completed when they came to see me. And we see that, we wanted to address 3 meltdowns per day. And I would say, when was the last meltdown? And the parent, must have been last week, must have been 2 weeks ago. I can't really remember. So, and that, if I could sing, I would have sang. It's just so beautiful to hear that.
Yes. What's your hope for where CoordiKids goes next?
CoordiKids is, we sell courses globally. We have clients in many different countries, not always all at the same time, but we have seen many people and many children. And I just want to expand that, because there are families who live in remote areas. There are families who just don't have the funds to go to therapy, and we can help them. And it's just so great to see that. And I just want to expand that part of our business. I don't want to change the actual courses that we have, because they are set according to development, but we might upgrade them a little bit. We can't make it too much fun, because then kids don't pay attention to the actual movement that they have to do. Then they are distracted. And we want the sameness, because many of the children we see really need sameness in their life. So they need predictability. They need to know exactly what's going to happen. And this course gives that to them. So I don't want to change that, but we might modify it a little bit. And then, of course, translate it into other languages so that we can serve more kids.
That's beautiful. Now asking you about your role, so occupational therapy. So what drew you to occupational therapy in the first place?
I didn't know what I want to do. And then I heard about occupational therapy, and I listened to 1 or 2 lectures at that time. And I thought, it's nice. You help people. And I think that is, and I don't know about you, but in my experience, I've had interviews with so many OTs, and I always ask, what made you study OT? And I think 99% of people say, because I want to help others. And that's why we do what we do, and why we love what we do.
What moment or experience made you want to build CoordiKids?
I think if I read from a parent that the child has progressed so well, and that we have helped them, then I want to continue, and I want to expand, and I want to help more. I think that's the main reason.
How has your clinical experience shaped the way the program is designed?
Oh, yes, very much so. In my undergraduate studies, before I was an OT, we did an undergraduate course in NDT. NDT is neurodevelopmental techniques. I'm not qualified in that, because I did only an undergraduate study in that. But that shaped a lot of my perceptions on how the body moves, and what is important in movement, and how a child develops from being newly born, hardly being able to move their head, up to 3-4 years old, when they can run and jump and walk on tiptoe and do all kinds of wonderful things. So that was, to me, an amazing journey. And then very soon after I qualified, I did my sensory integration technique courses. And that was, of course, challenging for all of us. It's a lot of hard work, but it is so interesting. And it really addressed so many of the issues that I saw in therapy sessions, and I couldn't solve by having the child sitting at a table. With sensory integration, you use the whole body, and the child is involved. And one of the big things is to have fun and to have that beautiful setting a goal and the child achieving that. And to me, that is very, very important. And that is the two things that shaped my mind as an OT, and it also the foundation of everything we do in CoordiKids.
That is wonderful. Okay, so I have my last question for you, Marga, today. And it's, what do you want your professional legacy to be? What do you think your legacy will be?
My legacy. I don't really. I'm just here. And when I'm gone, I'm gone. I don't need to leave anything behind. But if anything, I would love to, if anybody would remember me, I would love to be remembered as a person that helped others and cared for other people and were professional and reliable and used, evidence-based strategies. And, just that's something that OTs, I think, can do really well, is we can really think outside the box. We see this problem and we think, the textbook solution is this, but it's not going to work for that person or that child. We need to think outside the box and find something else. And I love that process. And if anything, I think I'm not too bad with that. And if anything, it will be great if people can remember that.
Very good. Okay, so we finished for today with this episode 1. I thank you so much, Marga, to join me in this interview, and I hope you will enjoy listening to us and will join into the next episode.
And we will put this on the social media every week. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you so much,
Every
Karen.
week you can listen in to us.
It's so good to have you as part of CoordiKids, and we are looking forward to the road that we will journey together.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Marga.
Thank you, Karen.
I will see you soon. Bye.